And good morning. Happy Wednesday, Miss Marcotte.
Hi. Happy Wednesday.
So we wanted to do a fan mail check-in with you because we know you are a regular viewer of the show, and we're wondering on your thoughts on all of the episodes for the last couple of weeks.
They've been good.
What were the parts you liked best?
The parts that I saw,
Right.
the ones I like best.
Right.
I saw my plant. It's doing well, looking good.
That is, first of all, proof that you didn't see it because your plant's not doing well.
No, it looked good. I saw some lists.
Okay, I would describe it as
top 6 lists, you know.
You have not been watching the show at all, Nicole. This is a lie.
Yeah,
you
what are some
pretending to do their homework?
Oh, the recent top 6 I saw was things you hear in math class.
That was today. You did watch today. What about last week's top 6?
That was Monday.
Favorite cereal.
I mean, that was Monday. Yes.
Favorite cereal.
What were they?
Favorite shows to binge watch.
You've not been watching the show. What do you have better to do than to watch The Morning Buzz?
I've started a new hobby and it's taking up a lot of my time.
What is it?
Pennies, to be exact.
So have you gotten
I find it very relaxing.
It's relaxing to roll change.
Yep.
Are you quick?
Sometimes I am.
Let's time you right now. Can you empty that penny roll out, please?
Okay.
And are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, but I don't have them in my pre-made stacks like I usually do.
Adapt.
So this time's not going to be your best.
What is a good time?
I don't know. This isn't it.
Because what happens if you have like 2
Pennies, if you
minutes?
ask me, that's a good time. Oh, geez. Oh man. I did so many the other day that my hands were cramping up, and I didn't even stop during dinner. I was doing them with my left hand.
Your
That's
hands
addictive.
smell like pennies afterwards.
Yeah, you have to wash your hands a lot.
But you said you're doing it while you were eating.
Yeah, well, no, I was doing it with my left hand. I was eating with my right hand. But I'm getting nervous because you're watching me, and I'm starting to drop my pennies. Gosh, I'm almost done.
How many hours a day do you dedicate to this?
Well, I'm done. This is my last roll. I probably have about 8 hours in.
You're still.
My son helped me too. I can't. Oh, done.
That took you like a minute. That was
So
like
is that a fast time?
that was like 59 seconds.
It's a little bit. My normal technique is 5 stacks of 10, and then you're picking up those stacks.
But you also forced your child to do it.
He volunteered. Yeah, he made a lot of. He got paid 3 minutes a roll.
He got
in video
paid.
game time.
You got paid in video game time?
Yeah.
Where are you getting all these pennies from?
I had 2 of these jars that were recently gifted to me. I don't know if you can see the label. They're really old. It says Summit Alkaline. Can you see that? They were filled to the brim. And the hardest part of this whole adventure I've been on was getting the pennies out. Because when you empty the jar, they didn't trickle out. You had to I just shove a pencil up here and then shake the pennies, and it was really heavy, and I got about 4 to 5 pennies at a time. That took about, I don't know, probably an hour to empty the jars. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do next, but I do know it's gonna involve quarters. Any guesses as to how many quarters are in this tin?
Oh, we can maybe have people guess in the chat, and then you can update us later. All right, Nicole.
You could update the chat, but
All right.
This is a lot of change here. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for checking in. Try to keep.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Bye. All right, we'll try this again. Good morning.
Happy, what is it, Wednesday? Happy Wednesday.
Who really knows anymore? I think it's Wednesday. I thought yesterday was Wednesday, and
Every day is like a double Sunday at this point, right?
yes, it is. It's just a never-ending Sunday.
And we're live.
We are live.
Right?
Oh, I
We're
would like
live.
to mention from that markup video, she did ask if anybody has quarter rolls in the chat. Maybe somebody could help her out. She's got her pennies taken care of, but there's a lot of silver change there.
I'm glad she cared so much about her plant. The whole video was supposed to be about her plant.
I don't think we even mentioned the plant in there, but
Easily distracted.
she's on coins, and then afterwards she sent me a video that now she wants to get a metal detector. So she's looking at a lot of new hobbies for Nicole.
There you go. Thanks to the Groovers for the intro.
Yep, little Jack Johnson for Luis.
Jack Johnson, that's good stuff.
I got that one after midnight from Luis. So it was a late night. Evening.
If she sends them after midnight, it should be After Midnight by Clapton.
She should send us after midnight.
That would be a good one. What else we got? We got some birthdays today. We got to talk. Oh, first we got to talk about the sponsor. Today's show is a little bit of a Seinfeld theme because one of our birthdays is Jerry Seinfeld today. So today's show is sponsored by Vandalay Industries, fulfilling all of your latex needs. Jerry Seinfeld, 65 today. Oh, go ahead.
I just said, and you want to be my latex salesman.
That's one of the best scenes ever. Jerry Seinfeld, 65 today. Willie Nelson, 86 today. My grandmother's an old school, was an old school country lady, so she always had records playing all the time, and I vividly remember a lot of Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Conway Twitty. So last night, my cousin Trevor and I were kind of going back and forth. We decided to watch the Highwaymen live at Nassau and watch the concert, and it was awesome, man. It was like it's a contest between Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings just to see who's more cool, and like neither one of them can win because they're
Johnny Cash. I never got that into Willie Nelson. It wasn't really.
Yeah, Willie, a good songwriter, not as good like of a singer. Waylon Jennings, just the general overall, BA. I mean, he did the Dukes of Hazzard song. So also Dale Earnhardt Dale Earnhardt Sr. would have been 69 today, an icon in the Daytona stock car racing. Always liked Dale, growing up. But I didn't watch a lot of racing, but when I did, that was probably somebody I rooted for. And then Michelle Pfeiffer, who you probably remember from her Stone Cold Fox days when she was in Batman.
Yes, I was thinking Batman. Definitely was. Batman was such a big deal when it came out. There weren't really superhero movies. I mean, I guess they've done Superman, but
I know you watch it now, and it's like, man, I was really that excited about that compared to what they have now. But at the time, that was pretty good.
Michael Keaton was a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So I think now we're to On This Day. So on this day in 1990, the wrecking crane started tearing down the Berlin Wall.
I remember that as well.
There you go. I do. I remember that as well. I remember them showing it on MTV, which seemed like a weird news outlet to report it on. But remember, it was like a big thing.
Yes, I do remember that being on MTV. MTV News.
Right. Kurt Loder, was that guy's name?
10 to the hour, every hour.
Right.
I watched a lot of news from MTV News.
Yes. Sports. You watched any of the Last Dance documentary?
So good. And it's like the only chance to get real sports in right now. Well, kind of real sports.
Right. And I love the fact that there's still a feud between Isaiah and Jordan. Like, Jordan's still like, to heck with that guy. Like,
also, how crazy is it that Dennis Rodman disappears to Vegas and then Jordan has to actually go to Vegas and like drag him back? Like, everything about that is crazy.
Like, literally drag him out of the arms of Carmen Electra.
Who's hiding?
Right.
There's a good switch there, though, from Dennis Rodman to his buddy, Kim Jong-un.
Right. In the news business, we call that a segue.
Still dead?
I think so. I haven't heard otherwise, so I'm still going to say that he's dead.
I'm now on the state that he's not dead. Like, I think he's not dead. I think maybe like in a vegetable state or coma, but I'm currently predicting that he is no longer dead. We need like a meter that's like alive to dead, and then you like where he sits.
We also could maybe send Seth Rogen and James Franco over there to find out. Like, maybe that would be a good idea. I'll the interview. So So yeah, we got that. Also, the big news from Governor Mills yesterday, we're going to open some things up here. Phase 1, your golf courses, haircuts. I might be able to get a haircut now.
Right, I could probably use a haircut.
Yeah, I could use one.
probably
Then I might even shave too. We'll see. Yeah, so that'll be all right.
all right.
And then we have, I think you,
let's
Kid,
bring,
the
in, let's
character-
bring in our other people here before we get to the screen sharing.
okay.
We've got a couple. Now we got a special guest this morning, standing in for Jamie,
Right.
who's being terrorized by his kids probably at the moment. And
Got
he's
Slug too. Officially part of the crew.
and of course Morgan. Morgan, how's it going?
It's going.
going.
Always
Morgan, you've never seen an episode of Seinfeld ever?
No, I've not.
You need to shut your screen off right now and go watch some.
I
Have
am
you-
looking for a new show to watch, and it is on
Watch.
Hulu. So I think I've been convinced.
All right.
You've got it. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot here on live TV. Have you been watching the videos at the end of Mr. Shaw's emails?
Sometimes, not always.
Oh,
It depends on what I'm doing when I read the email.
getting ready for Buzz Media.
Right.
It's in the
Well,
morning.
which is super important. So sometimes I don't
Right.
have time to
You're
watch the
busy.
video.
Right.
And I haven't seen Seinfeld, so I don't really watch the Seinfeld one.
So I got it, Mike, I think you'll agree with me. There are very few scenarios that occur in real life that don't in some way connect back to an episode or a scene of Seinfeld.
That is true.
That most things that happen to either to you or to somebody you know or something you read about there's something that is analogous to that happened on Seinfeld.
That's true. So Jackson's been staying up maybe a little too late lately, but he and I typically watch the 11:30 Seinfeld as we fall asleep on Fox. And last night was the marine biologist.
Oh.
She thought
He was angry that day.
was a riot. You know?
Morgan,
In that moment, I was a marine biologist. Well, you should be watching those episodes. Anyway, we've got the Davis is gonna, I think, share his screen here. We've got a new challenge created by our what's Miranda Mishu's official position again?
She is the
Events coordinator?
event coordinator.
coordinator.
Yeah, Buzz Media.
So she's coordinated a new event, which you can go check out on the Insta. The Character Recreation Challenge. Dress yourself or a sibling with their permission. I don't think you need their permission. As a favorite movie or TV character. Snap a photo and share it with @LevittBuzzMedia on Instagram or with the Levitt Buzz Media Facebook group. Winners will be featured on the Morning Buzz. I think that's going to be a top 6 next week, I think. So
Yeah. So that's my friend's kid, Lincoln, as Maverick.
Nice.
He's got the aviators and the. We tried to find a picture of Iceman because he's actually blonde, but we couldn't really find one that lined up.
Val Kilmer also played Bruce Wayne.
Yes, that's right. It's a Batman theme and a Seinfeld theme.
Right.
We also have a Sign of Spring video, right?
Yeah, Sign of Spring today, sponsored by Mendy's, the best soup for lunch around, other than the Soup Nazi or Hurricane Deli.
We will see if you can recognize whose video this is from the laugh. Mr. Shaw,
So
you
in
don't
the chat-
do you have a guess?
Is that Jake Foster?
It is not Jake Foster. No, but maybe in the chat people can try to figure out who it is.
All right, throw your guesses in the chat. Who's the
Can we
laughing
hear it
man?
one more time? Can we hear it one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm not even sure it's really a sign of spring, but it is awesome.
I can totally relate because cutting down trees is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, so now we're going to move on to senior shout-outs here. Senior shout-outs sponsored today by Kramerica Industries. Call Darren to set up an appointment.
Somebody actually, for their future, they could be an intern at Kramerica. I think they're taking internships now.
They could. So we've got Jaslyn Mitchell up first, going to University of Alabama. That's awesome. studying psychology, criminology, and anthropology.
Roll Tide.
Dixon, you
Roll
gotta
Tide.
be missing. Jaslyn has a lot of quality time in your room, right?
She does. She has a lot of like venting time in my room, I think. It's a good way to say that. But she is really excited to go to Alabama. She
That's
really wanted
awesome.
to leave Maine.
All right, up next.
Definitely going to be better weather. Now we got Kayla LeClaire going to the Maine College of Health Professions, radiological technology. So congrats to Kayla, star on the field hockey team this fall.
And where
that's
is the
awesome.
Maine College of Health Professions?
Maine.
I think it's right in Lewiston.
Oh, nice.
I think it's based out of, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I could be wrong, so somebody in the chat can correct me, but I think it's based out of CMMC.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it might. I'm throwing this out there as a guess, but it might be the place over in the industrial park in Lewiston, across the street from it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
We don't know. Hopefully, someone in the chat by now is probably already
Tell us.
the real answer.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Good
though.
for Kayla, man.
That's
awesome.
That's a great field to get into.
Yeah. And
Reese Thibodeau, Central Maine Community College for Nursing.
way to go, Reese.
Nice job.
Reese.
I picture Reese as a nurse. She seems like she's got the personality for that.
She can send people to get x-rays.
Yeah.
they can work together a little bit.
Reese is such a nice person that she has enough niceness for herself and then also to help out some spillover for Mark that really sometimes.
That's my dancing with the staff team right there. Easy now.
Oh, I love them both.
All right, now we got Chase Rowe, straight out of physics as well, going to Boston University, biomedical engineering and pre-med. I think Chase got a pretty good size chunk of scholarship to go there as well. So
Absolutely.
great career at Levitt. He's been our rep on the school board, right, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And, he's
Super
done awesome.
excited for Chase. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
really, really awesome.
And it's hard for me as a UMaine Black Bear to root for Boston University, but I'm rooting for Chase because that's awesome for him.
We'll root for Chase because he's not on the hockey team.
That would be a surprise. Maybe. Walk on.
Hey, now we're talking.
There we go. University of Maine, where Mr. Shaw and I both attended. Chemical engineering for Adriana Mishu. So awesome, Adriana.
That's
A
great.
regular watcher of the show.
Yes. Adri, you're going to go crushing out there. Also, one of several people I've seen with the ankles in the water. That's a common theme I'm noticing in the pictures this year.
I was just going to say, is this something new? I don't know that I've seen this before.
But we have one the other day. I think it was Caitlin and Air. So that's the thing, I guess. All
I like how you described that it's ankles in the water. Like she's clearly standing in the water.
She's ankle deep. I'm being more specific than just standing in the water, Morgan. She's ankle in the water.
Like Davis fishing for a trout in Martin Stream.
I want to catch them with my bare hands. All right, last one for today.
All right. Matthew Castagna,
Great.
Central Maine Community College, going general studies, massage therapy.
And that's awesome.
That's awesome. They got some great programs down there at CM.
Yeah, I didn't know. I've
Yeah,
never seen massage there.
Yeah, no, the CM and SM both have really added to their majors and the kind of these like concentration type of studies that you can do. So a lot of great programs, and certainly the financial piece can be a little easier at those places as well. So it's cool that they're offering those types of things and kids are taking advantage of it.
Way to go, Matt. That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
nice work.
Now,
All right. I believe we are on to the top six now. The top six today is sponsored by Jay Peterman, home of the Urban Sombrero. Which
Indeed.
Morgan doesn't find funny at all because it's nothing about Seinfeld.
The Urban Sombrero or the big Nutria hat. Either one.
Now, normally we
How
have
to do this, fellas.
Normally this would be Morgan like holding up the paper, but today they are all going to come straight from Mr. Shaw.
Right.
So, are you guys going to guess who the quote is from, or how do you want to do this?
I don't really know.
I think, yeah, you do the quote as if you're in character, and then Davis and I can guess the quote, the episode it's from, and kind of
Okay.
go from there.
All right.
All right, so
Number 6.
drum roll.
Number 6.
Number 6.
So I turn to him and I say, "These pretzels are making me thirsty."
That's an early episode. That's Kramer.
That is Kramer. Who's he talking to?
Wasn't it a Woody Allen movie?
He was talking to Woody Allen. That is correct.
Woody Allen. Yeah, which I believe in that episode he gets kicked off the set too because
He does. Yeah.
he gets a little overzealous, as Kramer sometimes can.
Yes, and if you watch the rest of the clip around, "These pretzels are making me thirsty," they all take turns on their take on how that might go. But yes, he did get kicked.
There you go. All right, number 5.
Number 5. It's a Festivus for the rest of us.
That's Costanza's dad.
Frank
That is
Costanza.
Costanza's dad. That's right.
Let me get the pole out of the crawl space.
This isn't over until you pin me.
Also, under probably recognized fact from that particular episode, the Two-Face, also in that episode.
Oh, the Two-Face.
Oh.
That's also the one where Kramer's on strike at the bagel shop and goes back to work after like 17
No bagel,
years.
no bagel.
Now wait, who does he show up to Festivus with?
The
At the end?
dude from the off-track betting, right?
There's a lot going on. Morgan, you really need to get yourself caught up.
That's a great episode. That's definitely top 10 worthy for sure.
Yes.
All right, number 4.
Hello, Newman.
Classic Jerry.
Classic Jerry, every time he sees Newman.
Now, but
But also classic Jerry's mom. Like, she does the same thing every time she sees Newman.
that's right. That's right. So were you channeling one particular episode with that?
No.
No, they could have been. All right.
All-around compilation of Jerry versus Newman.
Right. I also caught yesterday the Risk episode where they were playing Risk.
See? So have you seen my clip from today?
Yes, I was watching it. It was either yesterday or the day before. I caught that one.
Morgan,
Where
did
they
you
tow, they tow Kramer's car.
Yeah.
I read the email on this chat, so I did not watch the video. I'll watch it later, I
All right,
promise.
we'll leave it for you to watch later.
Number 3.
Well, the jerk store called and they're running out of you.
That was George.
Yep, definitely George. And I think he's got another quote in that episode that gets him in a little bit of hot water.
Yes, he does. I won't say that one on TV.
The jerk store called. I
But so
would use that
what was
sometime.
he doing? What was he doing that led him to want to say that quote?
Now,
What had happened?
was that
He-
the same place where he worked and he had the handicap bathroom, or is that a different?
A different one.
Different one. I believe this is the place where he wanted the nickname T-Bone.
Oh.
It could be, but
But
ultimately, he was.
Is it when he's
attending a
shoving all
meeting.
the shrimp in his mouth? Is it that one?
He was shoving all the shrimp in his mouth, and
The
the
ocean
other
called.
the meeting looked at him and said, "The ocean called. They're running out of shrimp."
The jerk store called. They're running out of you. Love it.
All
All
right.
right. Number 2.
This one's a little long, but here we go. You put the bomb on? Who told you to put the bomb on? I didn't tell you to put the bomb on. Why'd you put the bomb on? You haven't even been to the doctor. If you're going to put a bomb on, have the doctor put the bomb on.
That was Jack.
Because nobody knows what a bomb does. It's unpredictable. That is Jackie Childs.
That is Jackie Childs. That's right.
If I ever get in big time trouble, I want him to represent me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Feel like he could do it. Based on that character's based on Johnny Cochran, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he does
Absolutely.
grinding.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that comes from the trial where they put the glove on, right? Where he tried to put on the glove.
Yes.
The glove does not fit. You must have quit.
That's right.
Did he put the bomb on because he had burned himself with a latte? Was that it?
He had burned himself with the latte, and
Wow.
Jackie thought they had this great case, and then Kramer goes and signs an agreement, and what it boiled down to was he got free cafe lattes.
Right.
So he went from coffee store to coffee store with his free cafe latte.
He was a little wound after
He
that.
was a little wound up on caffeine at the time.
Who gave him
All right, and the number 1 Seinfeld quote
Wait, I want to know who gave him the bomb.
The maestro.
The maestro.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. The who?
So that's right. So the other part of this quote would be, so you put the bomb on? Who told you to put the bomb on? Kramer responds, the maestro. And Jackie goes, the who?
You know what's awesome is Morgan's so bored that she's clearly on her phone. Because like that's the eyes looking down.
Okay, I got an email from a student, but yes, I
Okay,
am.
that takes precedent.
Whoa.
All right.
All right, number one.
The sea was angry that day, my friends, like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
That is the marine biologist episode that was on last night.
Yes.
Oh, that is great.
I looked into the eye of the great fish, mammal, whatever.
That moment, I was a marine biologist.
I love in that episode the conversation he's having with him when he tells him, he's like, oh yeah, I can't remember what her name is, but I saw her and she asked about you. She asked about me? Yeah, and she might be under the impression that you're a marine biologist. Why? Because I told her. He's watching a show about whales. Lived with the turtles in the Galapagos.
That's right.
There you go.
All right, we should get things rolling here. What do we
Yeah,
got?
we got some videos coming up. We got the Park and Pump, which is always sponsored by Angelo's, but today Monk's Cafe also has decided to sponsor. Then we have the Jared Golden interview that we did yesterday, which is pretty.
I just want to say one thing on the Jared Golden interview is that we tried to kind of ambush him on the apology, but then he gave like an actual sincere apology and made like a really good statement.
Clearly, he hasn't watched enough of the show to know that the apologies on here are not sincere.
You know, he talks about being a
They're really
good person.
just backhanded sarcasm.
Right.
So yeah, the Jared Golden interview sponsored by Pendant Publishing. And then we are going to finish things up with Interdepartment Trivia Feud, the science department version, where my team is going to take on, who was the captain of the other team? Rachel, right? Rachel Madison. And that one is sponsored by Top of the Muffin to you. Muffins for all occasions. And then Hickson and I will see you for a wrap-up at the end of this thing. So.
Awesome. All right, thanks for stopping by, Mr. Shop.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you
sir.
very much.
All right, guys, Coach Parkin with another workout. Today is less of a workout. We've been sort of doing a lot of strength stuff. Today we're going to work on flexibility. So we're going to focus on the legs for today. First one we're going to do is hamstring stretch. So I want you guys to do, keep your legs straight and then just bend at the waist. So try and touch your toes, but don't just grab your toes like this. Keep your shoulders back, your back straight, and just bend. Some of you right here, you kind of feel a pull on your hamstrings. Hold that. Couple seconds. Take a break. Try and go a little further if you can. Hold for about 10. Repeat that 3 or 4 times if you want. Next one we're going to do is a quad stretch. So put your hand against the wall, something to bounce you. Grab your foot. Should feel a stretch right here. Push your hip forward to get a better stretch on your quad. Get the other one. Again, hold it for about 10 seconds. Do like 3 or 4 sets, however many you want to do. Next, we're going to get on the ground. Do a hip stretch. So try and get your leg so it's 90 degrees. And lean forward. You should feel a pull right here. Next, we're going to do a different hip stretch. Get on your knees. Put one foot up. Then rotate your hips forward and then just lean. You should feel a nice stretch on the front of your hip. Again, get both legs, hold for about 10 seconds, around 4 sets. The last one we're gonna do, this one hurts. We're gonna do a calf stretch. So put your shin right behind your knee and then you're just gonna sit back onto it. You're gonna feel a lot of pressure. That's really gonna mobilize and stretch out your calf. And then just go to the other one. Sit back. Just like that. And that's working for the day.
And this morning on the show, we have Congressional Representative Jared Golden from Leeds. Jared, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you all doing today? Hope you're all doing very well.
Yeah, it's not snowing, so
That's a bonus.
that is a bonus.
I went to the Aroma Joe's down the street this morning because the coffee maker in the house broke, and it was spitting snow this morning, actually, about 5:30.
Yeah, at least there was no. They said we were gonna get like 6 inches like accumulation, so spitting snow is nice.
Right?
So Jared, we got a few questions for you. First one up is, what do you remember the most? Oh no, actually, this is supposed to be your question, Hathaway. I've already messed up.
Yeah. There you go. What do you remember the most about? What do you remember the most about Levitt? Maybe favorite teacher, class. Just talk about some of your experience at Levitt.
Yeah, I gave a little bit of thought to this one, and there's nothing specific that jumps out for me. To be honest, it's mostly friends and experiences I had with them, as well as a lot of good teachers and coaches. To be honest with you, now here I am. I'm going on 38 years old. It's been about 20 years, and the memories that I do have are just about the individuals. So whether it was good friends and like people I played sports with, or like the coaches and teachers, I'm sometimes surprised how much I can still really think about the impact that they had on me. And then in terms of like just classes, I was really a history guy. I played a lot of different sports, both of you, and so that was sometimes more my focus. I hate to admit. And so when it came to like classroom stuff, like the social studies, courses were my favorite. And I stay in touch with Sean Shabbat. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's over at Lewiston now, right? Is he the?
He left Lewiston. He's superintendent now in one of the districts a little further south. I can't remember off the top of my head which one.
Right.
So Jared, I've read about you before, and you talked a lot about how 9/11 really shaped. So when you were a freshman in college, 9/11 happened, and it really kind of changed your outlook on what you want to do. I'm wondering, how much do you think what's going on right now might change the outlook for kids, seniors, or students figuring out what they want to do in life?
That's a great question. And, the thing about 9/11, I had graduated from Levitt earlier that spring, and had just started at University of Maine Farmington, and I was going to be a secondary education social studies teacher. And I think 9/11 was a really disruptive force in everyone's life in America. It kind of broke this bubble, like this feeling of like security and safety in this country, in a kind of like violence visited upon the nation, like in our homeland, in a way that people really of our generations couldn't, I think, never really thought about. Perhaps World War II and like Pearl Harbor being the closest equivalent. And I think it really set a lot of people on edge. It had an impact on the economy. And then there was you remember the anthrax scares. All of this associated with this fear of international terrorism, which I think the rest of the world had been dealing with, but suddenly America became very conscious about and understood that it could happen to us. So for me, I remember just that kind of shaking up my worldview a little bit. I began to think beyond the borders for the first time, really, as a young man. And I felt helpless almost at times. And I just decided that I had to do something. I remember watching the president's State of the Union address in early 2002 and really deciding that I was going to end up joining the military. And so that is how, I ended up responding to it. I never would have imagined that in the early, days after 9/11. But I think that the virus is going to be very similar for a lot of young people today. Just kind of understanding that this can be a very dangerous and unpredictable world, and that these types of things happen, and it can really open your eyes. But I think that the virus has a much broader impact. It's going to touch everyone, everyone's lives in the United States. Unlike 9/11, which, a lot of people had a very close connection to what happened, either a loved one that was killed, or they lived in New York, or in the Capitol, or knew someone that knew someone, not to mention all the first responders who responded. But in this case, I think almost everyone is going to have had a direct, kind of impact on their lives as a result of this pandemic. I don't know. I think it's unpredictable how it's going to impact a 17 or 18-year-old young man or woman today. But there's no doubt that it's changing, I think, their perception about safety, about health, and about our social lives.
Yeah.
Cool. A lot of students out there, particularly your juniors and seniors, your upperclassmen. Obviously, this is a big shakeup for those guys, and they're missing out on some important events in their lives, like proms and sports. Like I know for my kids at home, being active so much in sports and not having that has been real tough. Or potentially we're trying to look at graduation ceremonies and things like that. What advice would you have to students who are missing those things, and just kind of some words of wisdom for how those guys can kind of carry on?
Yeah, I've been feeling badly about that and thinking about it. Some of the, like I said, in response to your first question, some of my best memories were, sports seasons, looking back, on my last year playing basketball, and I kind of, I share a feeling of sadness for people who might be missing out on that. And I want you to know that, hey, life is going to go on. I'm sorry for this experience impacting your lives like this right now, but don't let it get you down too much. There's just so many great, important things to come, and you'll get through this. But it doesn't take away from the disappointment right now. And I would just say you got to stay focused at a time like this on the next important step in life, whatever that may be. If you're a senior, you just got to take this opportunity and ask yourself, like, what's the next big step in my life that I need to focus on and accomplish to move the ball forward towards, whatever goals I have, or thinking about those goals. Now's the time for that kind of focus. And I called it, here comes, this would happen. Here comes a cat, like right up on the kitchen table. But that would be my advice. Also, just focus on friendships and like the relationships that really matter to you right now most. If you're a senior, or if you're, anyone that's kind of missing time with friends, I think you got to ask yourself, like, who are the people that really matter to me, and do they know it? And maybe now's the time to like do some things to go the extra mile for them, to really show them that they're important to you, whether that's your family, or some friends, or some teammates or something. Now's a good time to take stock of those types of things.
So you kind of hit on this a little bit already, but anything else you have for tips on how to stay sane for people who are trapped, maybe in like Leeds?
I love Leeds, man. Come on. all three towns are great. We don't have to have any competition. I love them all. Obviously, I'm partial to Leeds. Hey, I think this has the potential for making everyone feel a little bit down, and a little bit crazy sometimes, and that's totally all right. I think people should expect that and embrace it, recognize it, and know that it's completely a normal kind of reaction right now. But I have felt very blessed to have what I describe as purposeful work right now as a member of Congress. Myself and my staff are in a position to help people, very focused on helping like business owners or individuals who are impacted not only by the virus, but the economic damage that's coming out of all of this around the entire country. So that's been giving me something to focus on. So maybe people need to look for something like that, an opportunity to volunteer somehow, or do something that might have, significant meaning in the community, or helping other people might be one way to do that. the other thing I would say is running is important to me. Coming out of the Marines, that 3 to 7 mile run is something I wish I was making more time for now. And as it warms up, I'm going to be. So just get outside, go fishing, whatever it is. But you can't just stay cooped up. Obviously, be safe. But yeah, you got to change up the routine.
Yeah, well, for us, we decided to start hosting a morning TV show. So
There
that
you
was
You talked a little bit about this, but you kind of went from like small town Leeds, Maine, and then off to UMF, potentially to be a teacher, and then ended up joining the military. Kind of talk us through the steps from that point where you joined the military to kind of where you are now.
Yeah, one thing I would say to young, men and women is you got to. It's good to have a plan. For instance, one of the things the Marines always taught us was to make a plan and then practice the plan, rehearse the plan, having a secondary, plan B. But really embrace the idea that often when you go to carry out the plan, nothing goes according to plan, and you just got to have this like flexible attitude in life, and we call that adapt and overcome. So that's kind of been the story of my life, to be honest with you. Very rarely have I ended up anywhere in the ballpark of my 5-year plan, at the time. When I look back, it's like, nope, that's not what happened. But doors have opened in my life, creating some opportunities. And I have made it my, I think, goal to take those opportunities and step through those doors. And sometimes they didn't even make the most sense for people watching, but they made sense to me. So joining the Marines, when I chose to, a lot of people, friends or family said, why are you leaving college? You don't have to do this. It felt like the right call for me. I did it. And it was a big risk. And the one I'm most proud of, and some of the most important life experiences I've had. Then, some other ones. I made a decision to go back to Afghanistan when I was home from the military and going to Bates College. And I had an opportunity to go back to Afghanistan and be a volunteer teacher at a school for 3 months. What an amazing experience. It was unusual for sure. And again, a lot of people were like, you nuts? Like, why are you going, back over there? You're going to be living in a school without security. What are you doing this for? It was important to me, and it felt, again, like the right thing to do. Out of those types of decisions, there's always been some other opportunity that came out of it. So that specific instance, I ended up going to work back in the Middle East after I graduated from college because of some of the people I met when I was over there volunteering. And that is in part why I ended up taking my first job in politics, which was as a staff member advising Senator Collins on the Homeland Security Committee staff. And really, that was something that came about because of all these cumulative decisions. I never would have known that I would ever work for a United States senator. And when I worked for her, I surely never expected that I would actually run for office myself. But that is kind of like the way that things have progressed. But really, the way I would describe it for young people is these opportunities are going to be there. These doors will open, and you don't always have to take them. But I would encourage you to live a life of seizing those opportunities. Step through that door, even if you don't know 100% what's on the other side, and believe in yourself. Even today, I don't know when I do something whether I'll succeed or fail, but I'm okay with the outcome as long as I know that I've given it my best and learned something along the way. You got to learn from the wins and the losses.
It's awesome, man. That's a cool story and good advice for sure.
All right, so we've got a lot of really good, serious answers from you.
Yeah.
That portion of the interview's over. So I don't know if you're going to have a good answer to this, how busy you are, but a lot of people are binge watching TV right now. When you do get some time, what are you binging?
Yeah, actually, in some ways, I am as busy as ever, no doubt. But normally weekends, I travel the state a lot, and with the stay-at-home restrictions, obviously, that's a little harder. And so, it's not a lot more time, but I am actually getting a little more time for like yard work and stuff, and catching up on old projects around the house that I've like kind of let languish for a couple of years here. It's it's been busy being in Congress, obviously. Probably an understatement, but um, yeah, I have been watching like some movies and stuff. So I watched Emma with my wife, which is like a comedy of like a Jane Austen book. Didn't think I would like it, but that was the compromise. I ended up liking it, so give it a shot. 1917, more my type of movie. Very exciting from start to finish. I loved it. And then just like the history buff in me, I've watched a couple episodes of World War II in color, which is like a remastered documentary of World War II footage in color, which is pretty amazing stuff. I'm learning a little bit about like the war in North Africa, in Italy, which normally gets pretty short shrift. People focus on the war in Europe and the Pacific, but not those early years. So that's what I'm watching right now.
This is a good one. Is there anyone that you need to apologize to from your time at Levitt?
So we apologize daily, sometimes many times a day, for things that we do on the show.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone specific, to be honest, that I would offer an apology to, except that I would offer like a very sincere and heartfelt apology to anyone who ever felt like I was like mean or rude to them, or if I ever hurt their feelings, whether that was like a peer, a student, or a teacher, or a coach, or anyone that ever felt like I let them down. I would wholeheartedly apologize to them for that. As I've gotten older, I think I've realized some of the things that are important to me, and one of them is hopefully, when this is all said and done, being remembered as a good person who treated people kindly and cared about people, about my community, and about this country and the world. And so, I strive to be the best person I can, and we all come up short, and we make mistakes from time to time. But I think one of the most basic things that you have in your control is to be good to people and to treat people fairly and justly and with kindness. And so that's just a top goal of mine. And as I look back, if I came up short in that regard with anyone at Levitt Area High School, I would apologize in a heartbeat.
We basically have a daily segment every day where Davis has to apologize for some of the things that you mentioned.
Unlike that, none of my apologies are really sincere. That actually just makes it even more.
That's true.
Usually they're more blaming someone else, but I do 100% agree with the sentiment about treating people right. All right, now we're up to the gotta choose portion. This might be something you have to apologize for in the future, depending on your choices.
Oh, no.
So we have these Buzz Media mugs. You can see this, and then it's us on the back. But I was able to also procure a 207 mug from Amanda Hill. We made a little swap. So you have to choose one. And there's no politician answers here, Jared. You need to choose. Buzz Media mug or 207?
Oh, wow. So I'm not gonna lie here. I knew that this question was coming, and I wasn't sure what Buzz Media was, so I Googled it, and I just saw the front there. And with 207, I thought, with the connection with Amanda Hill and her sister Ashley, both Levitt grads, that I was going to say 207. But now that I see Buzz Media and I see you two on the back here, I kind of like this. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent.
Good. You'll be allowed to answer question number 2 now.
Amanda does watch the show sometimes too, so you may hear about that.
Yes, you may. Breakfast in the morning, Rice Krispies or Cheerios?
Cheerios.
It's a solid pick. Seinfeld.
I had Cheerios this morning.
I like the sound of Rice Krispies. I do appreciate that still but.
Yeah. Just
Seinfeld or Friends?
Cheerios has a longer shelf life in someone's kind of natural progression in life, probably.
All Seinfeld or Friends?
I never got huge into either one. So I guess if I had to, I mean, obviously I've seen episodes. If I had to just pick one, I would go with Seinfeld. But I thought I'd try and like exercise a little bit of freedom here and say Game of Thrones.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I have seen every episode of Seinfeld. I have not seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, you're missing out, Hathaway.
Maybe that's my next step. When I finish Ozark, maybe that's where I go.
Oh yeah, my wife's watching Ozark right now. She had to go ahead though. I didn't have enough time to.
Yeah, I went ahead on my wife too. She's not happy about it, but what are you gonna do? All right, so your dad was the owner of Springbrook, the golf course in Leeds. So when you're on the fringe, do you chip from there, or do you just take out the putter and bang it on the green?
I personally pull out the putter, but don't take that as solid golf advice for anyone out there. You should probably develop your chipping skills. I haven't. I was already always more into like the mowing side of things. My sister is like the mother or like the ace golfers. So they would say chip. I say putt. If you're not good at chipping, you just got to go with the putter when you're on the fringe.
Right. We've all played mini golf, so I always, I'm better at mini golf than regular golf, so I always go putter too.
Exactly.
All right, last question. Lincoln or Washington?
I'm going to have to go with Washington. I love Lincoln, but I think Washington is like all around like the more impressive leader to me. If you read about some of his challenges, like the insecurities that he felt as a leader and still, had the confidence to forge ahead. Just some amazing leadership skills in terms of his ability to lead men through incredibly difficult circumstances. And I think he had a lot of human kind of intelligence, emotional intelligence that was just so important to the success of the American Revolution. So I got to go with Washington. I love the fact that he made the decision to step down as well, and not continue on. I thought that set an incredibly important precedent for the country. And so I'll apologize to Lincoln, who obviously was a genius and an incredible leader in his own right.
Good, you're getting into the apology spirit that we go for there.
David, you're a history guy. Who do you go with there?
Oh, that's tough. I think I go with Lincoln, but I also totally appreciate Washington, and he's sort of like overrated, underrated. Like he almost gets too much credit for like, oh, he's the father of the country, but then people don't actually look at him as a person. That happens to a lot of people in history. They sort of get like the story of them isn't the real, like the whole, oh, he never told a lie, like all that's bogus. But,
oh yeah, no, that's every life, like you said. That's every famous person and everyone else too. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show. That was great.
This has been great.
All right.
I hope you guys continue to enjoy it, and thanks again, not just to you guys, but to all your colleagues and everyone out there for adapting and overcoming. Like I talked about, this isn't easy. I know for students certainly and parents back home who have a different schedule as a result of all this, but I know it's tough on teachers too. I'm hearing a lot of stories about the challenges that you're all having to overcome to try and do right by your students and in your community, and it's appreciated. So thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Peace.
Oh, you're muted, Hathaway.
Am I live? Dave has given the wrap-up signal. So let's wrap this thing up, Morgan. I saw no birthdays in the chat.
Nope.
So we got nothing there. We are going to bump the science trivia feud to Monday's episode, mostly because Davis has an AP history meeting coming up at 11.
Well, that and someone clearly added up the times wrong, because that
Right.
would have taken us a lot longer.
I would blame it on Davis because he did the adding, but I also would say Genterva's the executive producer, and he's like nowhere to be found today. So, we
True.
probably should have had
Again,
the show
though,
go
like-
an hour and a half just to make him mad.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of apologies for Friday. Or there could be a lot
I'm
of
sure they'll
apologies
be.
for Friday.
I'm sure they'll be genuine. So that science trivia feud will appear on Friday's show. So that will be a lot of fun. That was a good episode. A chance to see some of your favorite teachers, and again, that was sponsored by Top of the Muffin Tuya. I didn't really emphasize the Tuya, which Morgan would know nothing about, but
Nope.
great Seinfeld reference there. Do you have Marcotte's plant to show us? Can we get a plant update?
Oh. Still alive.
All right. There's like 2 pieces that are sticking up pretty good, but the rest is kind of droopy.
Yeah. This one's a little dead on the end, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, Marcotte,
Still green.
Morgan's doing the best she can.
I don't see Marcotte in the chat anymore, so I'm pretty sure she pieced out as soon as her part was over. So now she has a talking point when we ask her if she watched the show, but she didn't watch the whole thing.
Right. She probably
She's a
should
big
apologize for that. Davis, we really got to wrap this up. He's going to get to his meeting. All right, we'll go to the quote of the day. Since it's Willie Nelson's birthday, the quote of the day is, "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, because they'll never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love." Good piece of advice. Parenting advice from Willie Nelson, who I'm sure is the guy that every parent is seeking advice from in these times. So, Davis, hit us with an outro, and we'll see you guys on Friday. Peace out.
I just want to say thanks again to Jared Golden. That was really cool for him to come on. And here we go from Luis. Thanks. Have a great day.